Just yesterday, out of the blue, Donald Trump made one of the most important, groundbreaking announcements surrounding crypto probably ever. No hearsay, no hint dropping. He told us exactly what's going to happen. His statement was clear and it was shocking. He stated that his executive order on digital assets directed the presidential working group to move forward on a crypto strategic reserve that includes XRP, Solana, and for some reason, ADA, and I will make sure the US is the crypto capital of the world. Then he retweeted this tweet a few hours later saying obviously Bitcoin and Ethereum as other valuable cryptocurrencies will be the heart of the reserve. However, some major and notable public figures are raising their fists about it, like Peter Schiff, who has consistently been one of the largest opponents to Bitcoin and crypto for years. He's been on virtually all the podcasts, including the Joe Rogan show. Now, even though I completely disagree with his views on the space, he made a really solid counter argument to Trump's crypto reserve post. Other major players also clapped back, and we'll be covering what they shared in this video. Matter of fact, even the chief technology officer over at Ripple chimed in. And although many people may hold a bad taste in their mouth toward Trump, it's hard to deny that this man holds as much, if not more power over markets than Jerome Powell, chairman of the Fed, master of the universe when it comes to the almighty US dollar. So much so that a single post from Trump added $346.9 billion in market cap value to the entire crypto market in a single day. Now, here's where things get interesting, is that someone had prior information to the Trump post, and the day of added an obscene amount of money in long positions that only a fool would take, unless, of course, they had information only an insider could possibly know. And in this video, we'll uncover it all and even share a bit of alpha that virtually nobody has seen or talked about yet on how to track this insider, their wallet, and their trades. And near to the end of the video, I'll dive into the price action and explain my thoughts on the next giga pump that will either happen for XRP or whether a breakdown will occur, some key price levels to look out for, and more. So as always, before we begin the video, if you're feeling blessed and bullish, comment 777. And if you're going to be the wealthiest person in your family tree, smash the subscribe button. Hello and welcome back to the channel, my friend. If you're new here, my name is Paul, and you can find me on Twitter or X at PauliDeFi, PauliDeFi. This was arguably one of the most unforeseen type of situations that could possibly occur. It was almost like exactly the opposite of a black swan event, where when this post came out, markets actually rallied and pumped extremely hard. Imagine having the power to literally make one post and markets pump heavily to the tune of almost $350 billion. And that's exactly what happened. When Trump's already been the most pro-crypto president, crypto markets haven't really been doing too well. But then he actually made the announcement that they're not only going to add Bitcoin and Ethereum to the reserves, but XRP, Solana, and ADA. Now, this does not include other cryptos, which really leads me to believe that there are other opportunities for you to pick up some of the best top-performing cryptos that Trump's team and his sons might already hold and buy in their wallets. So there's some alpha for you folks. Just think about the best cryptos, American-made cryptos, market cap cryptos that are higher than the average market cap. Better yet, if you just come over to CoinMarketCap right here and look at some of the top cryptos, like Solana, for example, maybe Dogecoin, maybe HBAR, maybe Chainlink, maybe Avalanche and Sui, and even Litecoin. As much as I hate to actually say it, these are tokens that the entire Trump team and his sons are likely going to hold. And if you go ahead and look up their wallets on X, which we're not going to do in this video, it's likely that they're potentially even going to make an announcement about holding some of those top cryptos inside of that strategic reserve. Now, because it's a governmental entity, they can't just hold anything and everything. They're probably going to stick with the top and the best. So that said, don't overdo it, but I still think there's some opportunities to see some giga pumps on other cryptos. Now we're going to get to the news on the insider and some of the critics and then some clapbacks, if you will. But yesterday's video, I did talk about how it's likely we have a resistance into that $2.30 range up to $2.40. And the reason that I figured we probably see some level of resistance in this range is because of these EMAs, the 20 and 10 moving average, that have yet to actually cross over. But that said, I do want to make a note of the fact that markets are truly unpredictable, and all it takes is one major announcement that can either pump the market really hard or some unforeseen circumstance that is very detrimental to markets to make them crash. That is why you have to practice good risk management. I did not take any short positions. I was actually waiting for the market to come into this range to see whether it would test and then break back down. But on a Trump tweet, I mean, things really rallied hard. We're talking from a price of $2.18 all the way up to $3 freaking. That is an insane pump, but it makes sense considering the fact we're talking a 37% pump, by the way, that Trump literally said XRP was going to join those reserves. And I believe he's actually positioned in XRP. I believe that the whole family is probably going to financially benefit from it. I also believe that Brad Garlinghouse and the team over at Ripple have had conversations with him, which allows them some leeway to say, we're one of the top performing cryptos. We're a US based company. We've litigated against the SEC and we've basically won, and so there's no better crypto to add to that strategic reserve than XRP aside from Ethereum and Bitcoin. That said, this type of a pump would have wrecked you if you had taken a short position, which I'm glad I did not. However, I want you to understand this is also still technically a technical downtrend, and as you can see here, we have a trend line right here where we did break above and now we're being supported. So it is very much possible that we're actually supported here above the 10 and 20 EMA. I'd still like to see them cross over. We'll talk more about that near to the end of the video, but you really want to practice safe leverage if you're in a market that is this volatile. And so it's a good lesson that even though I am looking at these ranges and it's possible that we would have come into this range if Trump did not make that post, it's also important to note that nobody is right a lot of the time, especially in markets, which is why the only thing that makes pros far better than amateurs or anyone that's in the market that's not taking it seriously is one thing and one thing alone, and that is risk management. If I had taken a short into this position, I would have got absolutely wrecked, which is why sometimes I like to see the price action into a range like this, and then I like to see a little bit of weakness or a breakdown before I enter. Now, for those of you guys who know Peter Schiff, he's a total gold bug. He might even be playing the opposite side and actually buying Bitcoin while talking trash about it. Who really knows? But here is a tweet from him where he said, I get the rationale for a Bitcoin reserve. I don't agree with it, but I get it. We have a gold reserve. Bitcoin is digital gold, which is better than analog gold. So let's create a Bitcoin reserve too. But what's the rationale for an XRP reserve? Why the hell would we need that? To which point, Charles Hoskinson, another player that's going to do extremely well because of that Trump tweet, as one of the founders and I believe the #1 holder of ADA, said, because XRP is great technology, a global standard, survived for a decade through many harsh cycles, and has one of the strongest communities, I think the president made the right decision. Now, here is where things kind of get fun. David Schwartz, the CTO over at Ripple, is even retweeting Charles Hoskinson's tweet saying, am I dreaming? And I believe this is actually really positive news because although ADA, in my opinion, is far behind Ripple and XRP in terms of their development and their actual business model, it would still be nice to see these major cryptos partner. That means ADA and XRP somehow partnering, considering ADA is #8 in terms of market cap and sits at $33.6 billion. This type of an announcement would be huge for the crypto companies and further strengthen the entire crypto market. Now, really quickly, before we dive into the whale and the insider and how to track their wallet, if you haven't already, head on over to bullrunners.com to check out Altcoin Pro University. Watch this 26-minute video that explains everything that you get on the other side, whether it's courses and classes or live calls, getting your questions answered, being involved with one of the best communities in all of crypto that is very active, and some of the best alpha, whether it comes altcoin picks, DeFi yields. In other words, putting your crypto to work for you so you can earn if you're already holding it. Airdrop alerts, courses and classes around fundamental and technical analysis, and the list goes on. And this is bar none one of the best libraries of education in the space. So if your goal is to be like a crypto millionaire in 2025 and beyond, we can obviously not guarantee that will happen, but this would be your best shot with the right tools, training, and resources. We have everything you possibly need, from strategies and guides on when to buy and when to sell when it comes to risk management, the how-tos of Telegram bots and wallets, staying organized, staking, XRP wallets, psychology, the dangers, how to avoid scams and getting rugged, and even talking about narratives and breaking them down so you can take advantage of cryptos before they become big. And just as a fun little piece of alpha, as we continue to post all the freaking time in here, one of our analysts, and I'm going to share this piece of alpha with you that only happens in the back end when you're a member of Altcoin Pro University, just shared that 500 million XRP was just unlocked from the Ripple escrow. That's the tune of $1.4 billion. And yes, if this is strategically sold into the market, it will make XRP dump. And that's maybe exactly why the price has actually already dumped from $3 down to $2.50, currently sitting at $2.60, and it's very much possible we continue to break down on that sell pressure because they're using this pump in order to make some money. At the end of the day, Ripple is a company and they have to operate as such. So although I do believe it's going to continue to go up over the long run, it's very much possible it might actually break down further, and the company is going to use this opportunity to further stack its bags before it goes for an IPO. But as you can see, this community is fully active and engaged, consistently posting their thoughts, their ideas, what's happening. This is one of the best things you could possibly do if you are serious about crypto and want to take advantage of the bull market day by day, because every single day you wait is another day you can miss out on one single piece of information or one altcoin pick that could change your life. So head on over to bullrunners.com, check out the link, and I look forward to seeing you on the other side. Now, as always, there are sleuths that look into literally everything, and that includes on most major exchanges, especially if they see some anomalies. Someone on the Hyperliquid exchange recently shared that they saw a guy open a $200 million long position on Ethereum and Bitcoin with 50x leverage. In other words, it would have moved about 1.5% before this guy got liquidated. That is like playing with fire, except standing on top of it. Think about the size that this guy's trading with and the confidence not to lose an insane amount of money. In other words, all it would have taken is seconds for this guy to lose millions of dollars. But here is where things get interesting. This happened not even a full 24 hours before Trump announced the strategic reserve news. In other words, this guy made nearly 400 to 500% on his investment above the cost. This is truly and likely an insider. So I started doing some digging and found one post from a guy by the name of PK79.HL, and the username is PK79Z. So if you want to look him up, go ahead. But he said our insider whale friend changed his name to March 7th. March 7th is when Trump's crypto conference happens. I would keep an eye on this whale and copy trade him on any trades before March 7th. Then if you dig a little bit further, you can see that someone actually posted how to track his wallet. And you can do it on two different explorers, the hyperliquid.xyz explorer and then hyperscan.io. So when you click to both of those, they should look something like this. This would be Hyperscan and this would be Hyperliquid. Now, I don't want you to get too confused, but right here you can see that this is the exact same address as the one we're looking at right here. Now, currently, this account only has $287,000 available, which means they actually transferred a lot of their assets off. And in similar fashion, it shows you the exact same amount right here. So although they are still trading on here and it might be a bot, at the end of the day, this was the insider account. And when you scroll through, and let me go ahead and move myself right here and actually make this larger for you. If you scroll through these pages on the bottom right, you'll see that there are some withdrawals and hashes. And if you really want to, you can click on these and see where he's withdrawing to, and then maybe do your own digging. It might be likely that he's withdrawing to a centralized exchange, which means it's going to be hard or impossible for you to track it, but those exchanges will know who this is if they are KYC. This person is likely outside of the United States or has access to an exchange outside of the United States, which means they are probably not fully KYC'd, but either way, it might be fun for some of you guys to do some sleuthing and figure out where he sent his money to, if it's on other DeFi wallets, and whether or not you can copy trade this person into March 7th. Now, I personally have a strategy to approach this recent XRP pump. I still am holding my major XRP bag. This is not financial advice, so just do what you will, but I'm telling you what I think. I did not add to my position on that pump. I never chase markets to that degree, especially when they're that volatile. And typically in this type of volatility, whether it's to the long side or short side with leverage, I completely forego my ability to use leverage. I only trade in spot positions or like on a 1x short. So that said, I actually posted this earlier today when the pump occurred saying, call me a fudder, but I believe this XRP pump to $3 is a market maker's way of creating more exit liquidity before the next leg down. They have too much money in XRP and want to sell on the way down to people who FOMO into this move. And as you can see, they did unlock 500 million from the escrow. In other words, personally, I'm going to sit this one out. I'm going to hold my major position in terms of my investment portfolio. However, I'm not going to be over trading it. I'm definitely not adding to my positions. I'm going to wait a little while, especially because even on the 7-day time frame, as you can see here, we still have less money on longs to the tune of $180 million, whereas there are more traders still short at $216 million. In other words, it looks like short traders are still, or people who want to sell XRP are still in control, even with this pump. In other words, when I see types of volatility like this, where, for example, we didn't actually have a breakdown from a candlestick perspective below the $2.25 range until recently on February 28th in this range right here, we're seeing a lot of volatility because we actually saw a lower low in terms of price action from a candle close on a 4-hour time frame. But we also saw a higher high relative to the previous highs back here on a 4-hour time frame. This type of volatility makes sense considering we had a major post from the President of the United States. But that does not mean that this is truly a confirmation of an uptrend. If anything, I would actually like to see the price action from a 4-hour time frame, and more definitely a daily time frame, hold above these wicks right here at $2.80 down to $2.76. If we actually get back above this range on a daily time frame, then yes, I believe we are in a healthy range. But as things stand, I would argue this was just major volatility, and if anything, this is officially the new downtrend. In other words, this is a series of a lower high in a local or an intermediate term downtrend, and it's very much possible that we are the exit liquidity as we come back down into this $2.20 range. If we come back down into this range and most definitely break down into this $2 range, this is what I would call our danger zone. And I believe if we touch this range one more time, $2.25, and do not get supported there, or don't break above, or don't get a crossover on that 10 and 20 EMA, then this thing is actually going to break down for some newer lows, probably likely down to that $1.45 range, and even potentially the dollar range. In other words, this is a market maker's dream to sell their bags to people who are really excited about this announcement and news. So I'd be extra cautious, and arguably I'm likely getting out of a lot of my position on my investment portfolio on XRP at this range right here from $2.25 down to $2, especially if we break down below $2 one last time, because I think that's going to cause a lot of panic and the market's probably going to dump pretty hard. Now, I'm not trying to say I'm currently bearish. Things look good right now, but this isn't the type of price action and volatility I like to see for a real strong trend. If anything, this was just made by one single post, and it's very much possible that we continue to get selling right back below the $2.40 range and even the $2.30 range over the upcoming days. So just be cautious, ladies and gentlemen. And by the way, if you want more alpha like that and you want to take advantage of our live calls, which I'll be hosting in the back end only for Altcoin Pro University members on this Tuesday, March 4th, then head on over to bullrunners.com to get access. And not only will you get access to that, but you're going to get access to everything else as well. So thanks so much for watching this video. If you liked it or learned something new, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video, my friend. Goodbye.